Hello, I'm Jim Kincaid. The next few minutes will offer some of the most important information that residents of Hampton Roads need to have. So important that the information could literally save you and your family's life. Every major emergency organization agrees an informed citizen is a well-prepared citizen. Our program's purpose is to explain how to protect your family and loved ones should a disaster or emergency hit our community. Keep in mind, we have no intention of disaster merchandising in this program. Rather, we'll provide a solid understanding of ways you can prepare for any large-scale emergency, such as a hurricane, and what to do once a disaster strikes Hampton Roads. People, get ready.
The Virginia Department of Emergency Management wants each family to be adequately prepared in the event of a major emergency or disaster. Following 6 simple steps can help you ride out the storm.
Those 6 points are as follows. Understand what could happen. Create a disaster plan. Make an emergency supplies kit. Listen for your local instructions. What to do when the disaster is over. And important preparation tips. Unexpected emergencies and disasters can happen quickly and with little or no warning. It's important to invest some time with your families to understand the importance of being ready. Most of us automatically think of a hurricane when we think of natural disaster here in Hampton Roads. That's understandable, but it's certainly not the only possible crisis situation. So now's the time to learn about your community's disaster and communications plans. People, get ready.
Timely communication prior to and during a disaster or emergency is a priority of York County government. York County utilizes multiple means of communications to disseminate critical health, public safety, and emergency preparedness information to the citizens, businesses, and visitors of York County during a disaster. Let's begin with a look at York County's government website, which can be found on the internet at www.yorkcounty.gov. During a major emergency, residents can visit the county's website and access information regarding disaster actions. WYCG-TV, the York County government channel, which operates on Cox Communications Channel 46, also provides timely, accurate public safety and emergency information. York County also communicates regularly with media outlets, such as television and radio stations, to provide up-to-date instructions and information. WXGM 99.1 FM is used by York County as its official disaster radio station. Should York County officially declare a local emergency, tune to WXGM 99.1 FM for specific York County disaster information. For the most up-to-date weather information, including watches and warnings, consider the purchase of a NOAA All Hazards Weather Radio, or NWR, with specific area message encoding, or SAME, and battery backup. NOAA weather radios may be purchased at most local electronics retailers or on the internet. Residents should also consider purchasing regular AM/FM radios that are both AC and DC powered.
Once an emergency occurs, generally it's too late to begin making plans. The time to create your personal emergency or disaster plan is now. Getting ready isn't as difficult as it might seem if you're organized and thorough.
One of the most important lessons learned in the aftermath of our most devastating hurricanes was that those who took responsibility for their well-being were better able to cope with the disaster and could deal with the stress of the recovery.
It's important to realize that when a disaster strikes, there can be significant damage and loss of life. Health and mental health resources will be overwhelmed. Public fear will continue over an extended period. Media coverage will be prolonged. Public facilities and workplaces might be closed indefinitely. Schools may close for a long period of time. Travel could be restricted or halted. You may be evacuated to a remote location for an extended time. Cleanup could take months, and water and food sources could be contaminated.
I'll say it again. Those who take responsibility for their well-being are better able to meet the challenges of a disaster of any kind.
People, get ready.
Disaster preparedness, response, and recovery are often best accomplished through a coordinated and collaborative approach between the county and its citizens, businesses, and visitors of York County. Your health and safety are our top priority. Therefore, York County has taken steps to provide you with a variety of emergency preparedness information on our website. We hope that you will use this information to protect you, your family, your property, and/or your business in the event of any type of emergency situation. The York County Government website, www.yorkcounty.gov, offers in-depth information regarding emergency preparedness. The website includes information about storm surge in York County, including the updated storm surge map, emergency preparedness information including what to include in a disaster supply kit, and how to develop a family emergency plan. You will also find information on how to plan, prepare for, and recover from both man-made and natural disasters, and all types of potential emergencies such as hurricanes, floods, tornadoes, hazardous materials, and incidents involving emergencies at the Surrey Nuclear Power Station. The site includes links to additional resources such as the American Red Cross, Virginia Department of Emergency Management, and onestorm.org that will provide you with the information that you and your family need to plan for an emergency and/or disaster.
You wouldn't begin a drive across country without looking at a road map, would you? Well, dealing with emergencies means developing your own road map for preparation. Begin by meeting with your family. Discuss possible emergency situations and the potential dangers. Create a team mentality, which will be most beneficial when dealing with any crisis. The first rule of emergency planning is to establish a meeting place where everyone will gather once a crisis occurs. Don't assume your home is the only place. Designate a location outside your neighborhood in case you can't return home. Make sure everyone carries the address and phone number of the remote meeting place on a special card kept in the wallet. It's also important to establish a route to your alternate meeting place. During a crisis, it's easy to become confused. Be specific from the start, and you'll stay calm throughout the emergency. Establish an out-of-town central contact. Anyone who can't get to the emergency meeting location should call this person to check in and establish communication. The wallet cards I mentioned earlier should include the phone and cell phone numbers of the out-of-town contact, as well as that person's email. Every 6 months, your family should revisit the plan. This will keep it fresh in everyone's mind and ensure that they understand what to do in a disaster. Plan for special needs family members who are mobility impaired, especially those bedbound and on life support.
As a person with a disability, our primary goal is to remain as independent as possible before, during, and after an emergency. So there are many things we can do to be prepared. Develop a support team of friends, family, or personal care attendants who will assist during a time of crisis. Second, keep supplies and assistive technology where you can easily grab them. If you need assistance getting in and out of bed, keep an emergency kit by your bedside. You'll want a phone, water, medicine, food, and a flashlight. Take disability-specific items with you should you evacuate. These could be gloves for pushing a wheelchair through debris, catheter or diabetic supplies, a transfer board, white cane, hearing aid batteries, drinking straws, and some way to communicate. Make sure wheelchair and communication tools are fully charged. Shelters may be without power. If you need electricity for a ventilator, install a generator or travel out of the area. If you need accessible public transportation to a shelter, call your local emergency management office for an address or directions so you can schedule your ride. And remember, be prepared. Planning is the key to independence.
And your planning won't be complete until you consider your pets.
The most important thing to remember when making your plans for an emergency or disaster is that, generally speaking, if it is not safe for you, it is not safe for your pets. The very same questions that you ask and answer for your family plan are those that should be asked about your pet. When do we leave? Where do we go? What do we take? Keep these decisions in your planning. If you decide to stay in a motel with your pets, many national chains allow pets, but there are conditions and quite often an additional deposit. You can easily go online to www.petswelcome.com to find out which chains accept pets and where they are on your route. Keep in mind, your pet needs a disaster kit as well. Make sure your animal has identification tags on her or him at all times with full contact information. We also recommend microchipping as well so that any Animal Control Bureau can scan your animal and find your contact information if tags are lost. Your veterinarian can microchip your pet, or you can bring him or her to the SPCA clinic for this particular service. You need your animal's medical record in a plastic sleeve and all medication, a 1-week supply of food with a can opener if necessary, food and water bowls, an extra collar, a leash, a toy, and the animal's bed. Most of the time you will want a crate or kennel as well. Make sure that all of your full information is attached to the animal, backup numbers where you will be staying, a friend or relative's name and number that would be a point of contact. Again, if it's not safe for you, it's not safe for your pets.
People, get ready.
Disasters can strike quickly and at times without warning. You might be forced to evacuate, or you may find yourself confined to your home, sometimes for days. Here's an important question for you to consider. What would you do if basic services such as water, gas, electricity, cellular phones, and landline telephones were inoperable? Following a disaster, York County Disaster Assessment and Response crews will be deployed throughout the county, but we cannot reach everyone right away. Because crews may experience delayed responses to your neighborhood, we strongly encourage you to stock up on emergency supplies that will last at least 3 to 5 days. Remember, the time to assemble your supplies is now, not on the eve of a storm or disaster. A few minutes of preparation now will go a long way to ease your mind later.
Another simple preparation your family should make is an emergency and disaster supply kit. Once a crisis occurs, securing even the simplest items might be impossible. Keep in mind, you may have only minutes to prepare, so it pays to think ahead. Every home should keep enough supplies to sustain the entire family for 5 days. Each person and pet will need 1 gallon of drinking water per day. Stock enough non-perishable food for the same amount of time. Be sure you have a good working manual can opener. Replace that stored water and food every 6 months. If you must evacuate, you'll need to take your necessary items. These will provide both safety and comfort. Don't wait until impending disaster, as many needed items will be unavailable. Collect your supplies over time. This will eliminate anxiety at the last moment, and it puts less stress on your household budget. And be smart about it. Don't pack so much that your bags become heavy or too bulky to carry. You might even consider having 1 bag with wheels. Finally, make certain that everyone in your family knows where the emergency supply kit is located. You won't want to waste time trying to find it when it's most needed. A disaster supply kit is easy enough to assemble, and yet it is the most important thing you can have on hand in the time of an emergency. So, what do you need to pack? Start with 1 change of protective clothing and a pair of sturdy footwear per person. That's essential. For each person, be prepared to take 1 blanket or sleeping bag. Shelters usually do not provide these. Have a first aid kit handy. It should include all your family's prescriptions and medicines. Be sure to include a list of any allergies that someone might have. Don't forget to pack extra glasses and contact lens supplies. Each person should have a high-powered, battery-operated flashlight. Pack lots of extra batteries. Have a battery-powered radio and plenty of the appropriate size batteries. Don't forget cash, especially small denominations and credit cards, traveler's checks, and your official ID. Remember, ATMs may be out of order. Soap, toilet paper, and toothpaste, and a toothbrush should be included. Also, garbage bags and disinfectant are important. If you have small children or elderly family members, make sure to plan and pack for their needs. And it's important to have a secure, weatherproof container for copies of all your important documents. Originals should be stored elsewhere in a safe place. And finally, don't waste battery life. Reserve the use for when you need light or gathering information from the radio. Chances are, new batteries may not be available for some time after a disaster. If ordered to evacuate, your city or county officials will tell you the best routes to take. Only travel on the specific routes provided by your local authorities. Don't rely on shortcuts and endanger the lives of your family. People, get ready.
The Virginia Department of Transportation Hurricane Evacuation Plan advises York County residents who plan to leave the area to use Route 17 North. A copy of the 2008 Virginia Department of Transportation Hurricane Guide is available on the county's website. In any case, avoid flooded roads and allow plenty of time to get your family to safety, as roads may be congested.
There may be times when officials ask you to stay where you are. If you're instructed to stay put, heed that advice. Shelter in place means do not leave your home or office.
Some emergency situations, such as a chemical spill or radiological release, many people feel compelled to gather their children from school, which are often the safest places for anyone to be. Don't risk their safety and yours by going out when told not to.
Your preparations for shelter in place should include locking exterior doors and windows, turning off air conditioning, heating, and fans, closing fireplace vents, gathering your emergency supply kit, and checking your battery-powered radio. Listen to the radio or TV or check online. Stay put until you're told that it is safe or time to evacuate.
Just because an emergency has passed does not mean that the crisis is over. It may take weeks or even months before your community recovers, with the help of your local officials and the American Red Cross.
If you are evacuated, do not return until authorities tell everyone it's safe. When you do return, be cautious about re-entering your home. Unsafe structural damage might not be apparent. If extreme flooding has happened, mold can create major health risks. Wild animals often take refuge in unoccupied structures during a disaster. Be careful of snakes and other wildlife. One of the more unfortunate results following disasters is the number of people trying to take advantage of your misfortune. Don't fall for price gouging or other scams by people who say they'll fix your property for cash. These people are not interested in working with your insurance companies. Most do not have company names on their trucks. If you suspect that someone is trying to take advantage of you, report them to the Federal Trade Commission or the Better Business Bureau. Remember, an ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure. Prepare yourself by following a few helpful tips. Follow your established emergency plan. Listen to radio and TV for current information. Check out your community's website and cable channels for pertinent and current information. Be prepared to evacuate when ordered to do so. Check for fires, electrical, or other hazards. Check on your neighbors. Call your out-of-town family contact. Don't drive except as ordered by your local officials. Be prepared to give first aid. Remember the flashlight, radio, and plenty of batteries. Don't use candles. And if you smell gas, turn off the valves immediately. People, get ready.
York County places a high priority on disaster preparedness, mitigation, response, and recovery. But we cannot do it alone. As we've seen in the past, for effective results, every citizen and business must place the same emphasis on being prepared as well. York County is vulnerable to various natural, technological, and man-made related threats, and as a result, we undertake an all-hazards approach to planning. While hurricanes represent the primary catastrophic emergency for our region, there are a variety of other threats, such as tornadoes, hazardous materials incidents, nuclear energy accidents, drought, air transportation accidents, winter storms, and other types of severe emergencies. York County has resources to deal with many types of emergencies, but during widespread emergencies or disasters, these resources can quickly become overwhelmed or exhausted. You need to be prepared for all types of emergencies. The county may be able to draw on resources from across the county, region, and the state to meet the challenge of significant events. However, in a large-scale incident, the county would depend on assistance and resources from outside the Hampton Roads area. And that outside assistance may take more than 72 hours or longer to arrive and effectively assist with the situation. We encourage you to help yourself, help your neighbors, and help your community. Prepare a kit, make a plan, stay informed. Together, we can weather the storm.
We hope that you found the information in this program useful and beneficial. And most of all, we hope you never need to use it. Again, an informed citizen is a prepared citizen. I'm Jim Kincaid, reminding all of you in Hampton Roads, people, get ready.